Okay, Angie, anytime.
Mhm.
You have an opening?
Yep. I'm doing the thing. I'm clicking the thing. I'm clicking the thing. Why isn't it working?
Because it's no longer here.
Yeah. Yeah, it just went.
Here.
All right, so
And
we were
entertain.
saying change is good. It's not
Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
So we were just talking before we got started on change being good, and then our technology went again. So whatever.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate Angie. Angie, today is 1 year that she is the owner of Positive Educational Training. And that date, Angie went, didn't even, I was like, oh, when you posted, I says, has it been a year already?
Mm. It
Yep.
seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
The trip.
like. I was like, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. And then I looked back and went, no, that's right. That's holy cow. Okay. Yep, that's right. Yeah, I didn't realize it until about 3 days ago, and I went, holy
Mhm.
cow. Look at that.
That is so neat.
So I think when like from my point of view, okay, the change was really good because the anniversary didn't even like register with me.
Mhm.
So it was like, wow, okay, onwards. Right. So thank God for the intro. I wouldn't know who the hell you are. Okay, Jamie. We're gonna take that as a compliment. So anyway, back to change. All right. So I think first of all, we have three people on today. Angie, Denise is taking a mental health day, and Chris is with mom. We will say no more. Right. But we have three people here. We're at different places in our lives, in our careers. Believe it or not, I swear to you, I am trying to wind down. I know it doesn't look, but I'm figuring out by the end of this year, I'm going to decide what's staying and what's going before I move into 2026. So that's a lot of decisions I have to make. But I swear I am trying to wind it down. And that said, how would everybody feel if I did something? And Angie, I'm going to need you to make me an opening.
Okay.
Sundays with me. All right, it's going to be like a live stream, like this type of thing. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll be crocheting. Maybe I'll be gardening. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about books. You know, just I don't know. But I'm
Yeah,
thinking about doing that.
sure.
Okay.
I think that would be fun.
I think it'd be fun. I could pull people in and doing the same thing that we're talking about. Maybe I'll be out in my greenhouse. So, but anyway, that's what I'm looking to do. But something has to give in order for me to do it. Michelle is moving into another phase of her career. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's the same but different. It's morphing into something that I can't, is unnameable with my herbalist certification, sort of. It's just opened my brain a little bit to what I could have been doing that I'm doing now. I'm like, oh, could have had a V8, right? Could have been doing all the things. So now I'm playing and dabbling in AI marketing, and that's a little bit fun, I guess. I'm just starting, so I mean, nothing spectacular. I posted, there's a still that is advertising my Ouch oil, but the bottle is sitting there, and somebody is applying it to a dog's little hurt toe with a different dropper because the dropper's on the bottle, and I'm like, okay, saving that one for the
Okay,
picture.
now I got to go find that.
Right, it's hilarious. But I mean, so you'll see weird stuff coming out. I'm just posting it just because I think it's funny and it's fun, and see what happens, what I like, what I don't like about it. There's a lot of different other venues and industries that I can move into, that I'm slowly moving into, not just the grooming industry, but training regular folks looking for herbal solutions and a less processed way of doing things, which I love. I'm finding those people very lovely and wonderful to deal with. So there's other things that I'm going to be doing that probably still involve pets and dogs and cats and whatnot, but just places you wouldn't think of going if you are just stuck in the mindset of the pet industry. So I'm expanding things out a little bit and reaching others that normally I would never talk to. So I think that's pretty cool. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to just do that and not do my 5 other things that I do. So
Here's the thing. So I commented on that post. I did not notice the second drop. I'm just saying.
right. Yeah, it's fun though. I like it. I thought, I got to redo that, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going to.
No, I say just leave it. Just leave it the way it is.
Maybe I'll put Easter eggs in there, and if somebody guesses it, the first one who guesses it, they'll get dewdrops. I don't know.
Ooh. I really like that idea.
Right. Yeah, I'm starting to think in a different way, I suppose, just because I'm a little overwhelmed with the sameness of it. And I always like to be different. Once I see somebody doing something, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to do something different. So I'm taking everything that I do and just maybe putting a new spin on it, reaching different crowds of people in different communities, if you will. And I'm having a blast doing it. So even if you want to do the same thing and you want to change it up, there's so many things outside the box that you haven't even thought about. And that's what I'm going through right now. I'm busy changing it. It's because I want it to be more fun. I want it to be more accessible. And I want people to smile at the end of the day, knowing that, if they came into contact with me, they're better for it. And that's what I am living for. I think that's really nice. I'm happy about it.
That's good. I look forward to seeing, your new booth set up at the Colorado Rocky Mountain Groom Expo, which is 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. It's real soon. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot more product on the table. I'm changing my QR codes. I'm changing the games that I want to play with people. And it's the same concept, but it will be different. I don't know. You'll see. And I'll take pictures and videos.
No,
Are you still gonna do the prize-winning poo?
I might include that, but I might do it with herbs instead.
Okay.
all right. Let us
I
know.
never got to scoop the poo and win a prize.
That was a fabulous
about that.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm bummed I missed out on the scoop the poo and win a prize. I gotta be.
Yep.
So I started packing for Colorado, just the stuff because I have a booth there too.
Mhm.
And for those who may remember, I have 3 suitcases again this year. Will we be laying odds that as I walk past the machine that has, and it's going to charge me $8 for the cart, do you think I will pay the $8 for the cart?
You should.
I will.
Okay, because you should, because that escalator ate your leg.
Seriously, for those who may not remember, last year for Colorado, this was the deal. I had a booth, but because they were mostly books, shipping things out was a problem because there was such a short window that I had to ship. So I was like, okay, I'll just ship to my house and I'll just bring the books for the booth. Well, they're heavy. So I put them in 3 suitcases. Okay. And as I'm going past the cart, all right, I'm looking at it and thinking, should I get a cart? These suitcases are heavy. What the hell? $8? I'm not spending $8.
Oh, I will spend the $8 every time.
Oh, well, we have a little change of opinion. So I go past and I go to the escalator. Should I take the escalator? I should go get the elevator. But there's a line, Angie. There's a line for the elevator. Hell with this. I'll just take the escalator. Well, one of the bags did not sit properly on the little thing, went tumbling back, took me with it. So I fell down the escalator. Yeah. And what's really
I remember saying, here's the first aid kit.
Yeah. I now carry a first aid kit. By the way, change. First aid kit is like the first thing that goes into the suitcase. And the EMS that came to help me clean up my leg was highly amused that I'm a pet first aid instructor.
Oh yeah, it's just all perfect.
Yeah. As I trudge past with my 3 suitcases, the first thing I'm going to get is a cart.
Good.
Yeah.
So you saw the first aid kit that I bring with me everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a leather bag, has my name on it. It goes everywhere with me because though I have never personally needed it, every single trade show I have been to, someone needed something out of the bag.
Yeah.
Every single show.
Yeah. So now I have my own travel first aid kit that is very well stocked. Hoping I don't have to use it, but I will gladly, if you're at a trade show and you need first aid, let me know because I will have a kit there. All right, so on to the theme of change is good. All right. Sometimes change can be really difficult to do, especially when you're like sort of mired into where you are. All right. For me, like when I sold, Angie was the only person I wanted to sell Positive Ed to. There wasn't anybody else that I wanted to. But that didn't necessarily mean I actually wanted to sell it. Okay. But I knew I needed to because I was getting tired. It was no longer becoming a priority for me, and I didn't want the quality of the program to suffer. So when Angie made mention of it, it was like, yeah, let's do this. Okay. But I know from the time no, I am not going to be at Groom Texas. Chris will probably be at Groom Texas. And Denise will probably be at Groom Texas. But anyway, there was almost a 2-year period from the time Angie said, hey, I want to buy it, to actually buying it and taking it over.
Yeah.
Right. And that 2-year period for you was a lot of upheaval in your life.
Yeah.
So
couple of bitches.
Let's just drop that understatement.
Little things that happened along the way.
But the point I want to make, as you tell it, is that as bad as things were 2 years ago, is there any way that you would have seen yourself in this position 2 years later?
No, I couldn't imagine. I don't think I've ever been this happy in my life. Like, ever. Everything is good. It's like Michelle saw me at US Pet Pro, and she's like, oh my God, even your hair is shinier. What the?
And I've never seen her face smiling that hard for a prolonged period of time as we spoke. Just the joy that is bubbling from you is amazing. And I want to bathe in it. I want it to waft onto me.
Just freaking happy. I'm just happy. Everything is so good. And I mean, like, I get the most ridiculous joy out of the simplest things, like my garden. And, I've got tomatoes and all kinds of vegetables, and my watermelon's growing like crazy. I mean, I have more pumpkins than I know what to do with. I just, like, everything is good. And I go outside with the dogs at night, even if it's raining. And I stand there in the rain, and I don't bother with an umbrella because whatever, it's rain, who cares? And I stand there and I just look up at the moon, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Life is freaking amazing. And so, yeah, I'm just happy. And yeah, there may be some fae involved. Yeah, it's true. There's always magic here and there. And yeah, sometimes you bump into it.
All right. So, and I guess it's just like for somebody who's in like a really dark space now, 2 years can make a huge difference between being miserable and staying miserable and being happy.
Not even 2 years. Okay. So I had moved in to the house, and the movers came and they just put things willy-nilly. Like the kitchen was in the bathroom, and like they were just putting boxes wherever the hell they wanted. Mm-hmm. And I had told them, I have 2 torn rotator cuffs. Please don't stack them any higher than like mid chest height for me, because I'm so
reach up there, Ann.
They don't do that anymore. They just don't.
Mm.
And so they stacked them to the ceiling. And so I spent a fair amount of time trying to get the boxes by climbing other boxes. And the boxes, and I fell. And the boxes fell on me, and they opened, and I was covered in pots, pans, and Tupperware.
Nice.
And I just laid on the floor, and I had a good cry, and I just started laughing at the ridiculousness of it. Mm-hmm. Because it was so overwhelming, and it was cathartic to just have that release. Mm-hmm. And that was in November, where it was finally like, it's over. It's actually over. And I survived.
Mm-hmm. Well, to that point.
And I'm like, I went through all of that crap to be killed by pots and pans. That's kind of where I was at. And I was just like, come on, man. Yeah. And but that was in November, and by December, I had a good portion of the house sort of kind of straightened out, at least the kitchen, so I could like make food. And my bed was set up and everything, and I had some of my clothes, and I remember thinking, it only gets better from here. It only gets better from here. And it has. And things are so good now that I keep wondering if this is a coma dream and I'm actually in a hospital in Massachusetts.
We all feel that way, sweetheart.
I'm like, how did
you know what? I'm just going to confirm for you right now that you're not in a hospital bed in Massachusetts.
Right. Hi, Ash.
But if this was a coma dream, that's exactly what you would say.
Hey, you're having a great coma dream, though. This is a great one.
Dude, it's so good. I
Right?
don't know what kind of drugs they would have me on.
Right. You could be President Lincoln living in a treehouse. You
Yeah.
don't know things. You
Right.
don't know.
I'm allergic to all the drugs. So for whatever hallucinogenic, it's a really good one because this is freaking amazing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, but I have questioned that kiddingly, but also seriously. I'm like, is this really happening?
Mhm.
Can I actually be this happy? Is this real life?
Yeah, it is real life, and you can't be afraid of being of taking those changes because it is frightening to accept changes, and you're mired down in something. But is it more? Will it make you happier to stay mired or to move into something that might make you happier? So you always have to test that out. You have to go forward. You know, I've been in some black places, really dark to the depths places, and every time you just have to ponder thinking outside the box. You have to say, well, what other things can I do or that I can think about to change what I'm doing now into something even more wonderful, even more beautiful, even more self-sustaining? You know what I mean? You can't be afraid to try those things, and you'll fail. There are going to be things that don't work out, that are disappointing, that you're like, oh, I thought that would be better than that. So you tried it. Now you can move on to something else, and find your happy place, find your stability, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Don't be afraid to move through whatever you're working through and move into that next section of your life. And just because you're getting older doesn't mean that all your tryouts are gone. If anything, I have boosted my game. I'm trying out stuff like crazy now that I never would have done that. Pedro.
Yeah, I'm 54 years old.
Yeah.
And started, it's like, all right, reset button.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally like, well, let's see how this works out.
Mm-hmm. There's a ton of us out here that have hit our 50s and even 60s and 70s and rolled into something completely unexpected and be like, you know what? I should have been doing this. This is fantastic. It's not the end of anything. People always assume, oh, you need to hit your stride when you're younger or whatever. Are you kidding me? I don't think I've hit my stride yet. I want to keep going.
Pedro, you're such a smart ass. But yeah, change is terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's really good after it's really, really, really bad. It's really pretty
fantastic after that,
right? But eventually you make it out the other side.
Yeah. There's a saying with change that if you're not scared to do something, it's not worth the change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. I just want to try all the things. Just to say that I tried them, and I want to feel the textures in my hands, and I want to see the finished product, and be proud of it, even though it's a one-armed ceramic monster or whatever it is.
So with upcoming shows, next weekend is Pasadena, which Chris and Denise will be at. Rest of us won't. Me, Michelle, Chris, and Denise will be at Colorado. And one of the things I want to make mention, so if you've signed up to take the emergency and disaster planning class with me, it is 4 hours. Okay. If you bought a template, please bring that to class. But regardless, bring a notebook and bring a pen. There is a lot of information that you're going to regret if you don't bring pen and paper with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you're going to a trade show, you should really bring a notebook and a pen. Mm-hmm. I have my favorite pen that I always take to trade shows. It's my Pug pen. And then I have my backup pen in case the pug pen poops out on me. And then I have the cheapy pen that I carry for people that say, "Does anybody have a pen?" There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So always have the cheapy
Pencil, crayon, eyebrow liner, whatever.
pen.
Use it.
Some sort of something.
Mhm.
All right, we are at. Do you have a weird animal fact,
I
Angie?
do. I do. I do. I do. I do. So I didn't realize that these were a thing. I didn't know what they were flying over my house.
Angie's Weekly Weird Fact.
So these were in Florida. They're huge. They're huge. And it's called the split-tailed hawk or swallow-tailed kite, depending upon the same bird, two different names. And it's a really unique raptor. So they eat mostly insects, but they do it while they're flying. They also drink while flying. What they do is they skim the water and the spray. So they like put their feet down and the spray, they open their mouth and it's like, ah, how cool is that? So the really, really weird thing is they're raptors, right? You know, like an eagle, they are a hawk. Falcons, they're largely carnivorous, right? These guys eat fruit. They will pick the fruit off the tree and eat the fruit. That's not a thing, but it is a thing. But I mean, Pedro said he also drinks when he flies, but it's not quite the same, Pedro.
They're really pretty too. Look at their colors.
We're
They're
absolutely
like a small
stunning.
white bird covered by a darker bird on top.
Yeah. And when you see them above you, the wing feathers are so pronounced because they have that. It appears like they're split, but their tail feathers aren't actually split. It's just the
Mhm.
coloring that splits them. So yeah, they spend most of their life. Okay, so here's the icky part, because there's always an icky part. All right, so the chicks, the baby chicks, they commit what's called obligate siblicide. So if they rarely have more than one egg, but if they do and both of them hatch, the stronger of the two chicks will literally shove the weaker one out of the nest, killing it, because they perch up like 100 feet, because our pine trees here are very, 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 very tall. So they kick them out and kill them for the
Mhm.
resources, which is awful. Pedro said he's going to make them a hotline.
They won't. They're not alive enough once they get down to the ground to call it, though.
No. So this is actually a split-tailed hawk that's perching, which is not something you see because they do everything in flight. They eat in flight. They can sleep in flight and do, because their body will go from heat to heat, the heat to stay aloft. So they eat in flight, they drink in flight, they can sleep in flight, they almost never perch. And when they do land to mate, it lasts less than a minute. So, they say, the 2-minute man or 20.
We get it.
How I can't remember the saying now, but it's literally less than a minute, and then the female will go off to start building the nest. but it's cooperative. The male will come and he will also help raise the baby and feed the baby, because they require so much food. Because they're actually a really huge bird. They're about the same size as an osprey, just to give you an idea of how big they are. It's a big bird. But yeah, they're almost always in flight.
Angie's Weekly Weird Fact.
The rare occasion where they are perched for a particular reason, and it's usually mating or a storm coming in. And during the hurricanes that we have here in Florida, a lot of times it will affect their migration, because they will winter in South America and they will begin that journey in Florida, but that's also hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're flying through the Gulf. Oh, Pedro asked, how do they fly while sleeping? Or how do they sleep while flying? So there are heat currents. If you have ever done hand gliding of any type, there's upstreams of air, and they're cold, and then this one is warm and this one is hot. And if you go cold, you will descend, okay? Because for some reason, the weight
Heat rises
quicker. Heat does rise. So warm, you will hover. But if you hit a hot airstream, you will actually lift, because the heat will rise and you will rise with it. If you're, aerodynamic. They, of course, are exceptionally aerodynamic. So what they do is you can feel the heat, and you can feel when you're near the heat current. So like when you are hang gliding, you will feel the cold before you get it. So you turn if you want to keep ascending. If you want to come down, you're looking for cold. So you'll turn into the cold so you can drop.
in the different wind areas. Airplanes take these. That's how they fly commercially, and that's how there's so many planes in the air, because each layer is sandwiched above and around the next one. So you literally can just go and glide for forever.
And you'll have like around a lot of times for mountainous areas, you'll get updrafts. So, and that can be kind of scary, because if you hit a warm updraft, you getting out of it may take a bit.
And the cow jumped over the moon, right?
It's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And just keep going up. But you do eventually find the edge of it and work your way out, and then you can slowly bring yourself down. But that's how they do it, is they have a natural, so I guess part of them isn't sleeping, and they just stay in that warm to hot air current, and they bounce.
Yeah, there's a lot of animals that sleep while they're actively doing things like that. Dolphins, when they sleep, they only fall asleep with half of their brain. And that's why they can still be submerged and sleeping. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm sure that arrangement or that development also extends to other animals too.
Yeah, because hippos,
since their environment, they live in their environment.
And hippos can be sleeping under the water and be like, oh, and they just pop up, they get air, and they go back down, and they go back to sleep.
I mean, in between killing people.
Well,
they come up to kill, then they go back down.
they don't eat them.
No,
that's
they're very angry.
They just see that they don't like people in their space, so they're kind of grouchy. No. And so,
what are you saying, Angie?
I don't like people. Wow. So I have 5 acres of land and no neighbors. So mine, stay off. Yeah. So, I kind of see their point. I don't want anybody in my yard. So, yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes.
Have we lost the dream of the pygmy hippos?
No, I
Have
was
you ever
actually
even begun to
discussing
dug their mud pit?
let's see. How can I make an area for a pygmy hippo?
Right. In Florida, where there's gators.
Well, I mean, it would have to be, some sort of security measures taken.
Right. But have you seen
Sure.
the videos of the hippos going down to the water and there's a bunch of crocodiles and stuff, and the crocodiles get out of the way? And it's like even predators recognize a psycho and they just slowly go into the water. I'm like, oh my God, you're so dangerous. Their rage alone.
The
Alligators
alligators
are
are
like, oh no.
it's Bob, get out of here. Yeah, and they just go poof, 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 poof. And the hippo's like, that's right, man. That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, but I do want a pygmy hippo. I want one so bad.
That would be amazing.
And
I'm
I'm like,
on its little wet butt all the time.
I have the space to like put a little pool, make them like a little house, and they don't care. Like here, you can put up like a little barn or whatever. They don't care. They're just like, well, whatever. It's your property. We don't care what you do. You go ahead.
Mhm. Have you seen the little cows that are
Yes.
as big as dogs? And
Yes.
that's their full grown size?
Yes.
Have you seen those? Let me ask you one more time. Have you seen them, Angie?
Yes. Well, here's the thing: is this used to be the guy who owned this house prior to me, retired Marine. He had a farm here. This was a functioning farm, many years, and then he was in his 90s and he passed away. So, but before he became too old, he sold off the animals because it was getting to be too much. But at one time, this was farmland. So it could be again. But I want to travel. So.
Oh, there's somebody who will come and babysit your dog-sized cows for you and brush their hair and fluff them up. Oh my gosh. They're so cute. They're so little.
They are.
If I had any land, I would be having them on my property. Absolutely.
So, yeah. It could happen. I'm just saying.
The reason that Daryl Connor stopped going to trade shows was because she had a farm.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the trick, is you can't really go anywhere, having grown up on a farm.
I've got 2 Chihuahuas and I can't go anywhere.
You don't get sick days. You don't get vacations. You don't. No, it doesn't matter if you have pneumonia. Those animals have to be fed and cleaned and watered and cared for. It doesn't matter if you are on your deathbed and you only have like one eyeball open and one lung that's functioning. You get out there and you scoop poop and you feed them. So I'm like, hey, I wanna go see Mount Rushmore. I wanna go see the Grand Canyon. I wanna see the things.
So why don't you come out to Super Zoo? We took the helicopter ride.
What does that even mean, Angie? She's like,
So we took the helicopter ride into the Grand Canyon and then took the mules up. That was fun.
That might be on the agenda for this year or next year.
Okay. If you go and you do that, I'll take an extra day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
We are past time, so we will see everybody next week.
the counter just no, because I'll end up with another freaking hernia like I got from the Newfoundland I was lifting into the tub. I had
Yeah,
a
even though they're teeny, they are cattle. You should keep them on the floor.
yeah. I had a Newfoundland that this is pre-ramp days. All we had was stairs. And I'm like, okay, come on, buddy, you gotta go up the stairs. And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, go up the stairs. And he's like, no. Mm-mm. So I moved the stairs and I just grabbed him, picked him up, and put him in the tub. And my insides became outsides.
Mhm.
So I just stuffed him back in, as you do. And yeah. So I did a good job though. The couple, like, I think it was like 6 months later, the doctor's like, what is it? I was like, oh yeah, I lifted the dog.
Oh yes.
Like tennis ball sized glop comes popping out. And he's like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. You could have screwed it up and died. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't. I'm still here. So
It's fine.
This is the same doctor that I told him. I'm like, he was like, yeah, so you've had a number of close calls there. I'm like, yeah, I've been dead 6 times. I'm like, so you know how your body, it's just like a computer, it just needs a restart from time to time. The look on that man's face, he was like, that's not a thing. And I was like, well, I mean, apparently it is, because I've been dead 6 times. So, and he was like,
On a
"That's
scale
not-
from 1 to 10, your pain should be 0.
yeah, that's
Never
not a
is.
thing. That's not. He wouldn't even entertain. And I'm like, it's like kind of a joke. He's just like, no,
No.
found no humor in that at all. I was like, you're kind of a stick in the mud.
Okay, ladies.
All right.